Hello you guys, my name is Savannah and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. In today's video, we are going to be talking about every book that I read in March. There are a couple days left in March, so I think I'm going to be finishing one more book. I'll talk about it later on in this video, but if I do finish that book, then I will have completed a total of 8 books, 2 of which were audiobooks, the rest of which are Kindle or physical books. But yeah. If I look exactly the same as I did in my last video, it's because I'm filming them back to back. So if you haven't already watched my April TBR, you should definitely go watch that next to see what I'll be reading next month. For my March TBR, I ended up reading about 4 books out of the 6 that I picked for myself. And yeah, you'll see which one I ended up reading as I go through all of them. And I'll tell you if it was like one that was on my TBR or one that wasn't. So yeah, let's talk about all the books that I read in March. The very first book that I read in March was Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. I heard like a few good things about this book online, so I decided to pick it up. What mainly drew my attention is that the 2 main characters are serial killers that kill serial killers. And I used to love the show Dexter, and Dexter is a serial killer that kills serial killers. So I was very intrigued. Few things that I will say about this book is there is a very long list of trigger warnings in the beginning. Read them and take them seriously because there are some mental images from this book that to this day I cannot get out of my head, partially because I'm a very squeamish person and I don't like blood or gore that much. I mean, I probably should not have read this book for that reason, but even despite that, I did still enjoy it. I would classify this as like a dark romantic comedy. I've never really read dark romance before, and I don't think I ever would unless it's like comedic like this one is. But yeah, it was funny. I enjoyed the romance in it. Probably the longest spice scene I've ever read in a book before was in this one, so that was kind of jarring. But basically what I'm just trying to say is like, read with discretion, please. But also, I enjoyed it? Question mark? When I finished it, I gave it 4 stars, but looking back, I think I maybe would give it 3.5. Oh, and also, the main guy in this is Irish, so the entire time I was imagining him as Paul Mescal, so maybe that's why I bumped it up to 4 stars when I finished it, because that was enjoyable. Anyways, that's that on that. And then I decided to pick up a book that was off of my TBR for the month of March, and that was something that I was really excited to read, The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I really loved this book. I actually did a little reading vlog where I read this one and the next one in the series. And in that vlog, I said I like loved the first 95% of this, and then the ending just kind of lost me because I was kind of upset by some decisions that the characters made. But in the final book that's out in this series so far, that character has like some redemption, which made me like this book more, if that makes sense. I'm trying to like say this without spoiling anything, but it's really hard. If you've read the book, you maybe know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this book is about a girl named Araya who is a human raised by the Vampire King, and in their world, every 100 years there is, I think it's every 100 years, we're gonna say it's every 100 years, there's something called the Gajari, which is kind of like the Hunger Games for vampires, and Araya has to participate in it against a lot of vampires who are more powerful than her because she's just a human. You know the vibes. She goes through trials. There's a love interest, Rain, who's fantastic in my opinion. And yeah, I gave this book 4.75 stars, and I really recommend this series. Okay, the next book in that series is a novella called 6 Scorched Roses. And oh my god, you guys, I loved this novella so much. It was a full-fledged story in only literally less than 200 pages. Somehow Carissa Broadbent, in my opinion, I feel like all the loose ends were tied up. Correct me if I'm wrong. But in like 180 pages, Carissa Broadbent developed characters, wrote a whole story, made you fall in love with characters, made you root for characters. I love this so much. It follows different characters from the first book and kind of introduces them for the 3rd book in the series. But yeah, I literally gave this novella 5 stars. While I was reading those 2 books, I was listening to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies on audiobook, and I just love this Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of this book. I think it's so beautiful. This book has been super popular for a reason. It is such an enjoyable read. It follows Emily Wilde, who is a professor at Cambridge who studies fairies, and she goes to this very small town to study them. And one day her like academic colleague shows up, his name is Bramblebee, and they end up like kind of working together to study these fairies. But yeah, this book is so funny because Emily Wilde is such a like funny, quirky, introverted character, but like not in an annoying way, like in a very charming way, I would say. One thing that I feel like not a lot of people talk about though is this book is like kind of creepy at some points. Like some of the fairies are like creepy in my opinion. But yeah, it was a good book to listen to. I'm glad I listened to it. I think it made it less boring, that I could listen to it while doing other things, because maybe if I was just reading it, I would get bored. I ended up giving this book a 4 stars. And like I just said, if I hadn't have listened to it, I don't know if I would have given it a 4 stars. I might have given it like less than that, but still really enjoyed it. And I'm excited to read the next one in the series actually. I ended up ordering the UK edition of the next one in the series because I think it is so beautiful. Anyways, okay, this next book is actually at my parents' house because I left it there so that my mom could read it next. But it is called Before the Coffee Gets Cold by, okay, this author is Japanese, so I'm gonna put it on the screen because I don't want to completely butcher their name. Anyways, this book, oh my god, this book. It is just a super short, sweet little book about this coffee shop in Tokyo. And there is a legend about this coffee shop that if you go there, you can travel back in time. But there's all these rules that come along with being able to travel back in time. You have to sit in a certain spot in the coffee shop, lots of things. But most importantly, you can only stay back in time until your coffee gets cold. I read that and I was like, I'm sold. I picked it up, bought it, ended up reading it in one day. It's broken up into, I think maybe 4 parts, and each part is a different person who wants to travel back in time. And I don't want to spoil anything, but I really love the way all their stories ended up being interconnected. It's like one of those rom-coms from the early 2000s where you're following all these different couples and then you somehow find out that they're all interconnected. That's like my favorite thing. My one qualm with this book is that the writing style was very interesting. It was something that I feel like I haven't read before. It was almost too descriptive. It would be like someone would walk into the coffee shop and we would get a detailed description of their outfit and of their demeanor and the way they said something. Like everything was very, very explicitly spelled out, which I feel like would really put some people off. But if you can like kind of look past that and just follow the story, it's a very beautiful story. And the very last like chapter, the very last person that it followed literally made me cry. So yeah, I didn't end up reading that book, but yeah, I still don't know what to read this book, but I really recommend it. The next book I read on my Kindle because I don't even get a physical copy of it anywhere yet. I probably will get a physical copy of it so that I can have all 3 in the series once it finally comes out. But that book is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent, the next one in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I really liked the way it ended. I thought it was a great conclusion for those 2 main characters, but I do feel like it kind of dragged out for a little bit. I believe this book's in another reading vlog and I remember saying that I got a little bit bored, but then when we finally like started getting some action, they were like going to war and stuff, I was like back in it because I want to know what was going to happen. Solid 4 stars. Didn't love it as much as I loved the first in the series and the little novella in the series, which as you guys know, I'm like oddly obsessed with. Hello?
Did I interrupt?
I'm almost done.
Oh, hello, subscribers.
Do you have a message for my subscribers?
Make sure you smash that subscribe button.
You heard the man.
Like and comment if you feel inclined.
I just realized I need another book. Can you give me the pink book that's in my bedside table?
Yeah, as long as your subscribers promise to smash and subscribe. I mean, smash the subscribe button.
Smash and subscribe.
Where's your pink book?
You're funny.
Oh, I don't have, wait, where is it?
Oh my god.
I'm like really like, where is it in your bedside table?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the next book that I read in March, I actually ended up listening to on audiobook. I forgot to tell you guys. This book was on my March TBR, and so is this one. And so is the one that is being delivered to me now. Anyways, I actually ended up listening to The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes because I got out of Spotify jail and I re-upped my Spotify audiobook hours. What did I rate this? I think I rated it 4 stars. This is like the type of mystery This is the type of mystery slash thriller that I like to read. If you like the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, I think you would definitely like this. Very similar vibes, both like YA mysteries. I like YA mysteries because they're not too scary, they're not too gory. And as I've already said, I don't like blood. I don't like anything that will make me squeamish. This series is basically like often described as Criminal Minds, but with teenagers. There's like a really cute found family aspect. Oh my god, I can't speak now. There's a really cute found family aspect because all of these teenagers kind of come together They have different backgrounds, but they're all kind of working together to solve cold cases for the FBI. But yeah, I will say, I did not see the ending of this book coming. And I don't know if that's just because I haven't read a lot of mysteries or thrillers, or if I'm dumb, but I didn't see it coming. It did kind of feel like it came out of nowhere to me. You kind of had to like suspend your disbelief to enjoy the ending of this book, but that's why I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't 5 stars for me, but I still think it is super fun. I really recommend it if you're looking for a quick, easy, fun read. Last book is, I think I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the book that I'm still reading, but I think I'm gonna finish it today or tomorrow. And that is another book that's on my TBR for the month, Flawless by Elsie Silver. It's the first book in the Chestnut Springs series. And I literally think, I don't know why I could not remember what this book was called. I think in my past couple of videos, I've called it like Flawless, Reckless, Powerless. I didn't know which one it was. But the first one in the series is Flawless, and it follows Summer, whose dad is like a talent agent, and she's kind of like interning with him, working with him. She gets assigned to one of her dad's clients, who is this really famous bull rider who has had like a lot of negative media attention lately, and she gets assigned to kind of like essentially babysit him and make sure that he doesn't do anything crazy to get himself in trouble or lose any more sponsors for the rest of the season, because he's losing a lot of his big sponsors and like losing money, and then her dad's losing money. So yeah, she goes to like this small town where he lives and meets his whole family, and his family is super sweet, small town vibes. And I think I said in my last video that I like wasn't vibing with this book, but I take it back. I would like to retract that statement, because I've realized that this is the perfect before bed book for me. I've been reading it before bed past few nights, and it has literally been the perfect low stakes book to help me like wind down before bed. And sometimes you just need that, you know? One thing that's like weird about this book to me, it's gonna be interesting to see how this unfolds and how they end up together, because I haven't gotten to the point in the book where they like do end up together. At this point, I don't really feel like any emotional connection between Summer and the main guy character, Rhett. Like it mainly just seems like Rhett is like really physically attracted to her, and she's really physically attracted to him. So it'll be interesting to see how Elsie Silver like forms that emotional connection between the two of them. I hope she does, because I don't really like books when there's like only that physical connection. Anyways, I have heard a lot of people say that this one is not the best in the series, that there's like a lot of other ones in the series that they like better. So I'm kind of thinking this will be like a 3.5 for me, but I do think I will continue the series because I want to read all the ones that everyone says are like their favorites. And it's just like I said, it's like low stakes, good before bed book. So yeah, there you have it. These are the books that I've read / am reading for the rest of March. Overall, a really good reading month. Found a new fantasy series that I really like, kind of read fairly broad range of genres. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thank you so much for being here, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye.